Mainstream history tells us that civilization began about 6,000 years ago in the great river valleys. But scattered across the earth are sites that refuse to fit into that neat story. They are older, stranger, and more advanced than they should be. They suggest that long before Mesopotamia or Egypt, human beings were building, carving, and organizing in ways that defy explanation. Let us travel to the hills of southeastern Turkey, to a place that rewrote history, Göbekli Tepe. In 1994, archaeologist Klaus Schmidt uncovered massive stone pillars arranged in circles, buried beneath a hill near Şanlıurfa, Turkey. At first glance, they looked like the ruins of a Bronze Age temple. But when dated, they stunned the world. 11,000 years old, more than twice as old as Stonehenge, older than agriculture itself. The pillars of Göbekli Tepe stand up to 20 feet tall and weigh up to 20 tons. They are carved with animals, lions, scorpions, vultures, snakes, etched with detail that rivals later civilizations. And yet, according to history books, humans at this time were still nomadic hunter-gatherers, supposedly incapable of such planning or engineering. So how did they do it? Who organized hundreds of people to quarry, carve, and move these stones? What ceremonies took place in these great stone circles, centuries before the wheel, before pottery, before farming? Even more mysterious, Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried around 8000 BC. Who buried it, and why? Was it an attempt to preserve knowledge, a ritual closure, or the final act of a fading civilization, covering its sacred site before vanishing into history? Göbekli Tepe proves one thing beyond doubt. Advanced organization, artistry, and monument building existed thousands of years before we thought possible. If one such site existed, how many more lie, buried under soil and sand? Not far away, still in Anatolia, lies another puzzle, Çatalhöyük. Flourishing around 7,500 BC, it may have been the world's first true city. Thousands of people lived here in houses packed closely together, with no streets. They entered their homes by climbing down ladders through roof openings. The people of Çatalhöyük decorated their walls with murals of hunting scenes, animals, and geometric symbols. Shrines contained bull skulls and goddess figurines, suggesting a complex religious life. There is evidence of trade, agriculture, and a community that lasted for more than 1,000 years. But why here, and why then? According to the standard model, people were only just beginning to farm around this time. Yet at Çatalhöyük, we see a level of organization and culture that feels sudden, almost as if knowledge appeared rather than evolved. Some scholars suggest Çatalhöyük was not the first, but the last echo of an earlier tradition, descendants of survivors who rebuilt with knowledge handed down. Its art, religion, and social structures may have been fragments of something greater, now lost to us. To the south, near the Jordan River, stands Jericho, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on Earth. Archaeological digs reveal that Jericho had defensive walls and a stone tower as early as 9000 BC. That is nearly 4,000 years before the pyramids. Why would a supposedly primitive settlement need walls and towers? Who were they defending against? These questions remain unanswered. The construction itself is puzzling. The Tower of Jericho was 28 feet high, built from stone blocks weighing hundreds of pounds. Building such a structure requires planning, coordination, and social hierarchy, things mainstream history says should not have existed yet. Jericho stands as proof that humans organized into complex communities far earlier than we are told. It forces us to reconsider the entire story of civilization. When we place Göbekli Tepe, Çatalhöyük, and Jericho side by side, the official story begins to crumble. These sites are too advanced, too early, too organized. They suggest that humanity was not stumbling blindly into civilization, but remembering rebuilding based on knowledge carried from before. And when we recall that this era coincides with the end of the Ice Age, a time of catastrophic floods, rising seas, and mass extinctions, another picture emerges. Perhaps survivors of a lost civilization preserved their traditions in places like Anatolia and the Levant. Perhaps the first temples and cities were not beginnings at all, but restarts after a global disaster. These are not just ruins. They are reminders that human history is deeper and more mysterious than we imagine. If advanced communities existed before Mesopotamia, how far back does civilization truly go? Our next step takes us from archaeology to mythology. For across the world, stories of great floods, golden ages, and lost lands may hold clues to civilizations now vanished beneath the sea. Could myths of Atlantis, Lemuria, and other lost worlds be more than fiction? Could they be memories of real places, erased from the map, but not from our collective memory?